Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? I hope we're all having a great day. My name is Gladys Osagie. I'm the founder of Optimal Hub on Instagram, and today I just wanted to share some amazing information. Living in a toxic world. So many people are like, yes, I know we are living in a toxic world, but would you like or would you want to get protection? Like, would you want to protect yourself from the toxicity in the world? Would you want to get safer? Like from leaving your house, going to the shopping mall, going to school, going to work. There's so many toxic out there that you touch or you inhale, you breathe in, and you don't really know the symptoms that this uh, bring into your body. So this is why I've been able to, this is why I'm sharing this information. This information does not belong to me, it belongs to a doctor that I know, that I've come to respect in this amazing community where we inspire healthy living. So I'm going to be sharing one of our presentation, and I just wanted to, I've been listening to her privately, just to improve my own health. And I said, oh, let me come on my Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, whatever platform you may be watching this from. Let me come and share these insights with my friends. And I know that someone will definitely jump on this video and take precaution, because I've heard so many reviews. Oh, Gladys, I heard what you said the other time. I watched a video that you posted and this really helped me. So I get so many people who come into my inbox to, like, say well done. So I'm actually running a 30-day putting your health first. Like, put your health first, like not just for 30 days, like doing this series where we are just like, I'm me myself, I'm actually on a health journey where I'm recovering, I'm improving myself, I'm enabling myself to better health. And guys, I'm a lifestyle coach. Whatever I do, I kind of carry people along with me. So my own journey, I'm improving my own health journey, I'm enabling more healthy lifestyle choices in my life. So there are some couple of products that I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this video, but there's a link on my bio. Let me be sure, like, I'm live. Let me be sure first. I just want to be sure, so because I'm actually streaming from my page, so this is something that people are not so used to. But if you see me from anywhere, maybe on my page on YouTube, just say hi, put it in the comment section, say hi, encourage this video, be nice, be kind. It costs nothing for you to be kind. So let me go check it out now. Oh, living in a toxic world and how to get protected. Okay, I can see myself there. So I can see myself there. So now let me see if I can share this thing there. Let me see if I can share it. Yeah, I can see myself there. Now I'm going to share it to few people. So if you're getting this, this is an information that can really help your loved ones. That can help people you know. Remember, there is knowledge. Knowledge empowers you. Knowledge can liberate you. Knowledge can free you from being slave to a particular thing. So when you're knowledgeable, you're a person of if you're knowledgeable and you put what you've heard into action, that makes you powerful. So many people are knowledgeable, so many people are full of knowledge, but yeah, they are so weak. So when you hear of something and you put that thing into practice, you become an authority, you become powerful. So I've heard this thing and I said, you know what, I want to go out there and share this information to people, because I know there are a lot of people on social media platforms who don't really know what it is to live in a toxic world, and they just blame whatever they're going through. Maybe they kind of, so many, just touching your door, like the car of your door, there's so many. If you check the bacteria, the infection, everything, like you go to the supermarket, the trolley that you used to go to the supermarket and all that, even before the pandemic came, it's been there, like so many things. So I want to share some insight with you. And I have this doctor friend that's going to share so many insights. She's a person of authority. She's an expert in her field. So I'm going to share her presentation. And then when you get this information and whatever she says, there's a product that she's going to talk about. Please, you can go on my bio and click on it and get this product for yourself and your family. And if you want to partner with me in this amazing opportunity, you can always inbox me and I can get you the partnership form for you to become a franchise partner in the country where you live. Anybody can do this stuff. So let me just let me be sure that and then you can actually follow me on Optimal Hub. You can follow me on Optimal Hub. So I do this on Optimal Hub. So I'm just going to uh share this now to my page. Let me share it to my page now. So to my Facebook profile, and then off we go. So off we go. So thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for the likes. And if you enjoy this webinar, you enjoy this amazing session, let me know. Send me a message. And if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about, anything that you're going through regarding your health, it could be acne, it could be allergies, it could be anything, fatigue. We're going to be doing this. This is 30 days. So this is our 16th day of coming on Facebook Live. I think for the past 14 days, I've been doing this. I've been having series of health shows on my Facebook page. So this is going to be like more frequent. So stay tuned. You're definitely going to learn something. You're going to learn something. I promise that you're going to learn something. So now let me dive into the presentation. Please share this webinar to your friends. Just invite to attend. So don't listen alone. Share to your mom, share to your dad. I'm actually going to share to my mom and dad now, so they can come in and learn. So now I'm going to share my presentation. So I'm going to get my presentation right now. So this presentation is not mine. So I just want to let you guys know someone that I respect in this industry where I belong. So I'm using her presentation, whatever she's saying, to kind of, talk to my audience. So here you are. So let me know if you can hear the sound. I should enable the sound now, right? I just want to make sure I enable the sound now. So off we go. So this is Dr. Tamara Sack. So she's actually going to share more insight about living in a toxic world. She's going to share more insight. She's a person of authority. She's an expert in this field. So whatever she's saying, I respect her. So guys, listen and take action. Take action. There's a link on my bio for you to take action. And after the video, we can always talk more. This is just for 30 minutes. Yep.
How many of you wish that all of your doctors looked for the root cause of your problems rather than finding ways to treat the symptoms? How many of you have a relationship with Dr. Google? I ask all my patients, because everybody Googles medical stuff, that's the #1 use of the internet. And I always ask them, what are you looking for when you looked up the stuff that you just brought me a stack of on Google? And it's always, why do I have this? It's never, what do I do about it? People want to understand the underlying reasons that they don't feel well or have a chronic illness. They don't go to Google to figure out what to do, fortunately. How many of you think that you do all the right things? You work hard at your health. You don't eat junk. You don't smoke. You exercise. You do the right things, and yet you don't think that you feel quite as healthy as you sometimes should, given the amount of work you do to be healthy. That's certainly been true for me at times, and it's certainly true for a lot of my patients, and thanks for the couple of hands that went up. I'm sure there were more internal hands that went up, because that's kind of where we all are these days. But so, that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about. The root cause is some of the more baffling symptoms that some people experience, and a root cause of a whole bunch of things that all of us are at risk for, and our children are at risk for, and we can do something about. So there's certain things that are out of our control and certain things that are in our control. So we have to breathe, right? And many of you know that the air in China is so bad sometimes people can't see the sky and have to wear a mask. Well, guess what? That's our air. The jet stream, our air is their air is our air, right? We're all in this together. That's our water. This is our water supply in places where they frack. All of us have to drink water, and our water is a contaminated problem in many, many places. And then we have to eat, and our food comes from the soil, and we have little to say sometimes unless you have your own garden or your own tower. And even then, you can't always feed yourself entirely like when we travel. So that's our soil. And then we do things that we can control. We put things on our bodies or in our bodies that maybe we shouldn't. And many of you in this room no longer put things on your body that are bad for you, that have parabens or colorings and so on. But let's be honest, we did. Unless you're a millennial and you had great parents, at some point someone slathered sunblock on you or gave you something, a Skittle or something. We think of things as just like now, and we have control over our environment, and we're very good about our exposures in the present. But unfortunately, as we'll talk about, toxins have a lifelong journey, and even pre-birth and gestation. So this is what we look like, essentially. This is how all of us are in the inside. And so there is an antidote problem of toxicity, and that antidote is nutrition. So nutrition is the antidote to toxicity. Thank goodness there is one, because otherwise our planet would have done us in. And clearly it hasn't. Clearly it hasn't yet. So here's some bad news. Again, unless you're a millennial, this is just the way it is. And even if you are a millennial, this is a study that was done over 10 years ago now, has been repeated twice. The results were even worse the second and third time. But this is essentially saying that at birth, checking umbilical cord blood, which was just referred to as a source of nutrition, it can also be a source of toxins, because checking the umbilical cord blood on newborns, this is what was found. On average, babies born in this country have over 200 chemicals. On average, meaning some have more. Every single baby checked had rocket fuel, mercury, lead, detergent, Teflon. There are certain things that everybody has, even at birth. So we're in this huge experiment, folks. These babies are the canaries in the mine shaft. We don't know what's going to happen. But we are in the middle of this huge uncontrolled experiment where our babies are being born like this. And I'm not standing here telling you that I know what these results are, but I am concerned, and all of you are too, I'm sure, when we read that autism is up to 1 in 8 children, and ADD, and all the spectrum disorders, and neurological development is going wrong. There are a lot of reasons to be concerned about this ongoing experiment with our babies and with us. So one of the things that was found in every baby born, and would be found in each of us, myself included, is BPA, bisphenol A. It used to be in baby bottles. It's now still in paper that's slippery, receipt paper. If you're ever in Europe, you'll see cashiers wearing gloves routinely to not get bisphenol A in their bloodstream. And it's on lots of dental products. We've replaced mercury and amalgam, silver, with some of these kind of things. And what's the problem with bisphenol A? Well, it acts as estrogen. It acts as a weak hormone in both men and women and wreaks some havoc in our endocrine systems. Have you ever wondered why there's so many 20 and 30-year-olds men who shave their heads? They don't want to have the male pattern baldness and the bald spot of their fathers in their 20s and 30s. But why? 30 years ago, you never saw a bald 30-year-old man. If you did, that meant they had cancer. We knew it. Now, it's just a common thing. That's strange. Have you noticed how many, in the story just before me a minute ago, how many infertility clinics there are now? How many women with infertility? These endocrine disruptors are doing a lot of damage to us. And so I used to have a whole bunch of slides on endocrine disruptors, and then this great organization I'm going to refer to again called Environmental Working Group, EWG.org. Please, if you have a lot of money, give them some. They do great work. They do lobbying, they do research. They did the study on the babies that I showed you a minute ago. And they came out on their website with this beautiful 12-page guide to endocrine disruptors. They define them, they tell you where they're found, how to avoid them. So I took my ugly slides out and put their slide in, and you can just go to EWG.org and get their little booklet for free. It's really well done. And these are the main endocrine disruptors that they have identified, and they're all hormone-like compounds. They all mess with your innate hormone system. So there's been many things that have been found from these endocrine disruptors, and one of them is diabetes, which is the most alarming because it's the fastest growing chronic disease in this country. It's threatening to take over. The predictions are in 2030, there'll be 30% of Americans, 1 in 3, with diabetes. Not to mention the suffering and the grief and the sadness of having a chronic illness. The cost of that will literally bankrupt this country if that happened. 1 in 3 people needing diabetic care. But what was interesting is up to 20 years ago, we've known that these toxins have a lot to do with diabetes. And my first slide 55 or so years ago was there was a 40% risk of diabetes from pesticides. And now the latest study, as you see here, is a 60% increased risk of diabetes after exposure to pesticides, to endocrine disruptors in particular. 60%. This is a mainstream journal that I just showed you. This is not woo-woo science. This is real stuff. 60% increased risk from exposure, not over the lifetime, but even exposures 1 or 2 times. It's a problem. So 60%. And the reason is because we were wrong about diabetes. I was taught, how many of you guys think that diabetes and obesity go together? Everybody thought that. I was taught that in medical school. We were taught that up until about 5 years ago. Well, it turns out that there's absolutely no correlation between your size and your risk of diabetes, none. You can be morbidly obese and have a lower than average risk of diabetes if your fat does not contain toxins. So fat is not what makes diabetes. It's toxins that are stored in fat that make diabetes. The fat is just the vector, the vehicle. It's the toxins that give you diabetes. So has anyone ever heard of someone treating diabetes with detox? You have now. I do that all the time, and it works. But most mainstream doctors don't even know about this. So they can't even pretend to do it because they don't even know it exists. But this is the new way to treat diabetes, is detox. Otherwise, we're going to be doomed. This is a really cool study. It's very rare to have a prospective going forward study. What it showed is that with exposures to pesticides over and over, in youth, it doesn't really matter. You don't see anything clinically. Blood sugar doesn't go up. Diabetes doesn't become apparent until there's this cumulative effect. And then at age 50, boom, you've lost all your coping reserves. It's not that your body wasn't feeling the effects of these toxins until age 50. It's that they were coping with them and coping, and they finally just couldn't do it anymore. And the whole thing falls apart, and then you have overt diabetes. But the study clearly showed that up until 50, there was not a clinical problem, there was cumulative damage going on. Cumulative damage, cumulative damage. So the time to start treating diabetes is with our kids, obviously, in our 20s, to prevent these exposures and to help the body deal with those cumulative events so that they don't damage your endocrine system and lead to things like diabetes, which is not the only thing, by the way. So why? Why do these toxins, we've only talked about one or two, we're going to talk about the greater group of toxins, but endocrine disruptors are a large part of that group. So why does this happen? So toxins have many toxicities. One of the there's 5 main ones. So the first one is that they create free radicals. For those of you that don't know, free radicals are angry electrons. They're unpaired electrons that have high energy. They're looking for a mate, and until they find it, they zip around with high excess energy, and they will damage whatever they touch. So if they're near the skin of my eye, they will break down collagen, injure it, damage it, and cause wrinkles. If they're near my DNA, they can damage my DNA and cause a mutation, which can then lead to nasty things. That is free radical damage. Toxins also block enzyme systems. And if you remember from high school biology, nothing happens without enzymes. Biology wouldn't exist without enzymes. Enzymes make the world go round in biological systems. So toxins can act as an enzyme or just sit in the way and block the whole thing from moving forward. They also can cause direct DNA damage. They can also cause minerals to not function because some of them, like metals, especially mercury and lead, look like zinc and magnesium. So where normally a magnesium would be doing something important, mercury sits there and doesn't move because it's heavy metals, boom, it sits there and won't get off. And now magnesium can't do its job. And then in an effort to neutralize an exposure to a toxin, your body can use up literally your entire day's worth of nutrients. If you're caught behind one of those diesel trucks that's spewing out that black stinky stuff and you don't get out of the way, women especially, you're at risk for losing all your B vitamins for the day. And then the next thing that happens, you have a stressful event, you have no B vitamins to help you through that. And that's part of the way toxins hurt us. So lastly, they mimic hormones, which we've mentioned briefly, but it's not just estrogen. They mimic testosterone, they mimic adrenaline hormones, adrenal hormones, cortisol. They mimic a lot of different things that typically happen in the body, and that's another distinct way that they can hurt us. So you see from this list that there's almost not a part of your body that's not at risk from toxicity damage, and that's really true. So what I see in the office with patients is this. We as doctors and functional medicine people and doctors and healthcare people that take care of toxins and toxin illness see everything from neurological problems to skin problems, everything in between. So chronic fatigue, chronic pain, vague syndromes that no one can really identify or figure out, those are really high risk for toxicity syndromes. But so is Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, dementias of all kinds, early onset confusion when you're not old, memory problems. Some of that has to do with toxins in our brain. There's also a lot of problems with the endocrine system, as we've mentioned, so Hashimoto's thyroiditis or low thyroid, heart disease. Heart tissue biopsies from people with heart disease show over 1,000-fold more toxins, specifically metals, aluminum, tin, mercury, lead, in heart tissue than in normal tissue. 1,000-fold. But a lot of things are not that extreme. They're just, doc, I don't feel well. My labs are normal. My regular doctors can't tell me. They tell me I'm depressed, but I'm not. They tell me all sorts of things that aren't really happening to me. I just don't feel good, or I don't feel as good as I should or as good as I did. That's what toxicity can look like. So autoimmune problems are on the rise. It's an epidemic that is untalked about, but it's really massive and scary. And this is just an example of the last 50 years of what autoimmune diseases have done. Look at asthma, that red line. Could it be any straighter? Could it go up any faster? This is air pollution primarily and a lack of good nutrition. So you could combat the pollutants in the air and not get horrific asthma if you had enough antioxidants to not have inflammation in the lung from those toxins. So it's this combination of toxicity and poor nutrition that's causing a lot of this. This is cancer. I could have picked anyone. I just happened to find a slide on male cancers. It could have been female. It could have been anybody. But, you know, there's this myth out there that we're doing better with cancer. It is a myth. We're doing better with treatment. Clearly, more people survive cancer now than before. More people live with chronic cancer as a chronic condition. And that's great, but it's not as great as if there were less cases to begin with. And there are not. This is the rise of incidence, new cases, and a whole bunch of different cancers over time. There's one exception. One exception, lung cancer, because we remove the toxin. This works. You take away the cause, the thing happens less often. And you'll notice perhaps that men's lung cancer went down way more than women. Do you know why? More men quit smoking than women quit smoking. Women did not quit smoking anywhere near as many in numbers as men did. And that's going to happen eventually. Then we'll see that other line go down as well. So this thing works. We know how this works. You take out the causative effect, you end up with better health at the other end. We're just not doing it yet. So shifting gears here, what I want to talk about now is the detox system. You all know a little bit about that because it's everywhere now. And 10 years ago, people thought I was talking about alcohol withdrawal. But now detox is on Dr. Oz, right, and all over. But let me just tell you, you don't have to watch Dr. Oz or even know what the word detox means to do it because our bodies have this innate ability to clean house. Thank goodness. And it cleans house 24/7, 7 days a week, 365, whether you want it to or not, whether you think about it or not, whether you do a green drink or not, you're still going to be detoxing. You can just support that system better if you know how it works. Because if you understand how your body works, you're not at the mercy of a bad doctor or a good doctor. You're not at the mercy of a charlatan or a really well-meaning family physician who you've known for 30 years who just doesn't know anything about this stuff. So the detox system is a two-part system, nutrition and genetics. And as it says right there, nutrition always wins over genetics. But let's just back up for a minute. The system is this. We have a gene system that's primarily responsible for detoxification, detox, okay? It has a set of about 50 genes. For the nerds, it's called the cytochrome P450 system. We know it really well. It's been studied for a very long time because it's where drug reactions occur, where drug metabolism occurs. So, of course, in the state of our medical system, things that have to do with drugs and big pharma get money and funding. And so we know this system really well, which is great. And so these genes are the cleanup crew. These genes are the genes that tell our bodies how to process, detoxify, get rid of certain toxins. And we have this system because we've had toxins in our environment since forever, since evolutionary times, since Neanderthal times. We've always had lead and other kinds of toxic metals in the earth. We've always had internal toxins, right? We eat, we make smoke, we make waste from eating. So that's the genetic part of that system that tells the body how to process chemicals to make them safe. And then the food part, the nutrition part, is how we actually do that. Because without the nutrition part, you can have the genes, but the genes don't have any way to act. The genes are just the recipe. The genes are the set of instructions on what to do. But we've all had recipes without the right ingredients, and we don't make the recipe. If you don't have the ingredients, the recipe doesn't help you very much. It's a maybe. I wish I could. One day I will. But if you don't have the ingredients, you can't make the recipe, and if you don't have the right nutrients that the gene calls for to clean up this mess, you can't do that either. So without the right nutrients, the genes are like, I could help you if you let me, but you don't have the right stuff in the pantry, so we can't cook up this good stuff and get rid of it for you. So that's the combination of those two. Anyone know what this is? It's my favorite organ. That's the liver. It's to remind me to tell you that we think of detox as the liver's job, and it really is, but almost every cell in the body does detox. Most cells have a detox pathway, but the liver is the queen or king, depending on your liver, of detox. And so we talk about that as the main place, okay? So toxins we talk about that need to be detoxified are generally fat-soluble. They don't mix with water. They're fatty. The job of detox is to take a fat-soluble toxin and transform it into a water-soluble toxin so that you can then eliminate it. Because detox is transforming it into something safer and getting rid of it. Because if it's not out of your body, it doesn't count as detox. You haven't gotten rid of it. But you can't get rid of fatty things because they hurt you. They would burn the delicate tissues of elimination. So first you transform them into something safer, water-soluble, and then you get it out of your body by peeing it out, pooping it out, sweating it out, right? And breathing it out. Those are the four main ways we eliminate. So step one, step two, transformation. Have anyone ever created something? You've made art, you've made a sculpture, you've made dinner, right? The bigger my dinners, the fancier my meals, the messier my kitchen. Is that true for you guys? When I make a superb meal, my kitchen shows what an effortful process that was. And the same is true for most creation. And so as we're taking this fat-soluble toxin and making it into a water-soluble toxin, sometimes we create a mess in the middle. And by a mess, I mean an intermediate toxin that's actually more dangerous, more toxic than the first thing you started off with. It's in process. It will be made safer, but in the middle, it can be worse before it gets better. That's just the way it goes. So the important nutrients that are listed here and the ones that are missing on this page, I might add, are certain B vitamins, certain things called methyl donors, amino acids, proteins. 6 particular amino acids are critical and sometimes hard to get in certain diets, and fiber and soluble, both insoluble and soluble fibers at the very end to carry things out of our body safely. Those are all critical parts. But what's missing on this page, which should be in big red, is antioxidants. They have specific ones listed, but you need thousands of plant-based antioxidants to create this kind of carpeting effect of safety, so that when you have toxins being transformed and maybe getting scary and worse, you have the antioxidants around you to keep you safe from that process. That orange thing in the middle, it says intermediary metabolites. That's where the nasty stuff happens. So the next slide then shows you that little orange blob there to represent that middle place. So once again, we have a fat toxin undergoing a process of transformation. First thing that happens, though, is the gene responsible for that toxin says, oh, that's me, that's me, pick me. I know how to do that. That's my toxin. I can fix that toxin. Pick me, pick me. And the gene puts its hand up, 1 or 2 or 3 genes, to identify that they have the recipe. They have the instructions to make that toxin safe. The liver goes, yeah, it's nice, but I don't have the nutrients for that recipe, so you're out of luck. So my options as a liver are to send that toxin back to storage and hope that tomorrow I'll eat something different and I'll have those nutrients that I need for that recipe, or to try to do that toxin and detoxify it with part of a recipe. And that can sometimes make things a little more intermediary, problematic. You make worse toxins when you do that, but that happens. So the gene puts up its hand and says, me, I have the answer. The nutrient pantry opens up the doors and says, yes or no, we have what we need to do that recipe. And then the body starts to transform this toxin from fat-soluble to water-soluble, and that's a physical process that takes time. It's not a snap of your fingers magic. It's a toxin actually has to have stuff added to it. You add an amino acid here, you add a methyl B vitamin there, you add a little magnesium here. You physically transform this toxin by adding things nutritional to it to make it into something different. And along the way it goes. So this is what the pantry of the liver should look like. This is the nutrient variety that we need to have everything that those genes require to transform every toxin that you might come across. Because some toxins are metal, some toxins are plastic, some toxins are airborne. They're all different. We need a whole variety of nutrients to fulfill the job description of detoxification. We also need those same nutrients to protect us as the stuff's coming out. So during the elimination phase, you also need the protection of antioxidants, fiber, all that stuff to escort these transformed toxins safely out of the body. This is chlorophyll. one of the most important parts of detox. Because those two slides, that picture of all those colorful things and this one of green, do two critical things. The first one I just mentioned, they provide the ingredients, the recipes, the nutrients to make the process doable in the first place. But they also inform the rate at which detoxification happens. Remember I said it's a physical process that takes space and time? Well, think of it as a conveyor belt. There's this big funnel, all the toxins come in, the liver takes one, finds the gene that knows how to do this one, gets the nutrients, and then starts this process. But if something goes wrong, if that big orange blob in the middle happens because you're going too fast for one step and the second step can't keep up, that's a big problem. So the rate at which detoxification happens is just as important as having the right nutrients. And the miracle of miracles is that our body knows how to do this because we live in a place that has, how many plants? 200,000 different edible plants on the planet? And so plants are what provide both the answer and the rate at which this happens in order to keep us safe. If you don't have that cushion of green, those antioxidants all around to protect you, to also slow down the conveyor belt and to protect you in case a chocolate does fall on the ground, you're going to be hurt by detox. And this is what people complain about detox, where they feel horrible, they feel achy, they have headaches. That shouldn't happen. None of that should happen. That means that you're doing it wrong. There's something missing. This is why I'm so grateful for this stuff, and this is why I will no longer in my practice let anybody go through my detox programs without being on Juice Plus. I won't. Because I'm tired of the phone calls, I have a headache, I don't feel good, blah, blah, blah. I don't get that when people are taking Juice Plus in my detox program, same as the Shred 10 programs. This is key. This is how you do detox safely. People who don't do detox safely are some of the sickest people I've ever seen. Honestly, I've had people who were terribly badly detoxed after significant exposures. I don't mean routine, regular people. I mean after chemo and all sorts of nasty stuff that you guys wouldn't normally see, but that's what I see. And if someone does this detox thing badly and doesn't include all these ingredients and doesn't have a cushion of antioxidants, they get sicker and sicker, and it's really scary. This is Juice Plus, for those of you that are new. It's food in a capsule. It has a nutrition label. It's really food. And it's the food that we don't get to eat, even if you're super conscientious and a foodie, because this stuff has the skin that we don't eat, of the orange, for example, the skin of the pineapple, the top of the pineapple, the bottom of the broccoli, and most of my patients won't. This stuff has vine-ripened food that's really hard to get, and it's processed almost immediately, always on site or very, very close by. So you're getting all the nutrition of a vine-ripened food, you're getting the skin, the seeds, the stuff that we don't normally eat, which has tons more nutrition than the flesh for the most part. And you're getting it in a concentrated form because the water's gone, so now you have pounds of produce in your little hand. It's magic. It's wonderful. We are cleaner than organic by far. Organic has 23% residual pesticide. We have none, okay? When you concentrate the good, you concentrate the bad. So we have to be cleaner than organic, and we are, and that's really important. And then we have research. We have a ton of research. This is why I'm here. Without the research, I would never have believed any of it. It would have been one more marketing thing. But the research is huge, and if you're known by the company you keep, I want to be in that company. And so we have over 3,000 subjects in these research studies so far, over 25 years. 9 countries, 4 continents, nothing comes close. This is my field. I can tell you that I have a huge pharmacy in my office. I need to. Nothing has 3, 4 studies, nothing. My entire pharmacy, which is a huge room, has no research compared to the 39 studies that we have. So we are head and shoulders above anyone else, and that's really another reason that I'm here. The shake also has what we need for detox in a huge way. We have fiber, we have protein that I'd mentioned before that we need to be having to get this job done safely. Omega is our newest product. It's a fishless omega-3, 5, 7, 9, wonderful oil. It's made with 5 different seeds, sea buckthorn and algae, and it helps to incorporate into your cell membranes, which are one of the places that toxins hang out. So as you detoxify and remove toxins from that sticky cell membrane, you want to make sure that cell membrane heals and you have those good healthy fats to do that. It's a really important part of health, but especially of detox. And then, I mentioned 100 times that we need a lot of produce. Well, if you're in a place like where I am in the Northeast where produce costs a fortune and you have 4 or 5 kids, you can't do what I'm telling you to do. You can't eat 7 to 13 servings every single day of produce. But with the Tower Garden, you can, and they're beautiful. They're here, and you can look at them and get more information. But it is the only way that I can tell some of my patients to eat what I'm telling them to eat, because now it's affordable as well as tasty, as well as their kids will do it because they're watching it. 3 things I want you to take home to be able to live a healthier life and learn from this. And the first rule of toxicology is stop the ongoing exposure. When you smell gas, you leave, you do all sorts of stuff, but fundamentally, what do you want to do? Turn off the gas at the source, right? So stop the ongoing exposure. The next part of what you need to do is to support your body's innate detox system so that your body can handle the toxins that you cannot avoid and the ones that you didn't even know you were trying to avoid in the first place. And so to do that, to support your detox systems, periodically do a deeper house cleaning, right? Spring cleaning, if you will, periodically. The things you want to be doing for your body are to get more sleep. We detox all the time, but we detox way more when we sleep. So really, sleeping is not wasted time. And you only detox your brain when you sleep. That's the only time you detox your brain at all. And so if you don't get a good night's sleep, you know how your brain feels foggier than your body? That's why. You can't think straight, that's why. So get enough sleep. And then get clean water, and a lot of it. Filter your water, filter your air, but drink an abundance of water to flush out those toxins. Don't let them sit in your bladder. That's not good. Bladder cancer is on the rise massively. Exercise. Got to move those toxins around and get your liver happy, and get the blood flowing and the lymphatics flowing. And then eating. Eating an abundance of colorful fruits, vegetables, and berries 365 days a year. You can't skimp on this, is really important. Periodically, a periodic cleanse. You can do most of this every day, and then every so often do a deeper cleanse. So for some people, that's a long weekend. Some people, it's a day. A month is really a good number. A month, you can get a lot of toxins out in a month. You know, stinking thinking is just as toxic as anything else. So how you speak to yourself is really, really important as well. And not doing some of these common things, if not every day, then periodically. Again, you don't have to be perfect all the time, but the 80-20 rule applies for both of us. And negative self-talk, whining, and complaining is an entire hour-long lecture, but I hope you'll take that into account. And then this is magical. This is what I just said on the other 2 slides. And you can do this for 10 days. You can do this for 10 days, 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. You can live this way, but this incorporates everything really one needs to do to have a safe detox system and support it very well in your body. So on that note, I hope that I've taught you something about how your body works and that detox makes a little more sense to you, and why Juice Plus and Complete are so integral to a detox program, and why Shred 10 is really helping more people than they think. Because it's not just about feeling great and looking great, it's about deep cleaning and removing of lifelong toxins, which have a risk factor for all sorts of nasty things. So thank you very much. Take care.
Are you done?
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much, Doctor. So if you find this very interesting and you would like to get on the Trade 10 plan, there's a link on my bio, and if you click on this link, it will take you straight to where you can get more information regarding the Trade 10 and how to get started. So when you're ready, I can add you into my private group where I can personally coach you, support you, and guide you. So anybody can join this Trade 10. You don't have to say you want to be slim or lose weight. You can hear the different subject that this doctor just mentioned. Everybody needs some amount of detoxification so you can actually breathe and live free and be happy. Thank you so much for jumping on my timeline. If you find this very interesting and you would like to become part of this amazing community, let me know. I really appreciate your time. Have a blessed day and God bless. Thanks for watching. Bye.